Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video. Pretty much every palette will have a red in it, but how do we use this colour effectively to make sure paintings look realistic? Red is an easy colour to use incorrectly. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use both a warm and cool red in your palette. I'll be using this recent cat commission I did to help illustrate my points. I have two reds on my palette, both a warm red of cadmium red and a cool red of alizarin crimson. Cadmium red is an opaque colour. It is my warmest colour on my palette and it is very saturated. It is a very strong colour, so best to always approach this one with caution. Cadmium red sits here on the colour wheel. If I am trying to mix colours that have more of a red-orange leaning, I will use this one. The trick to knowing when to use this one is to ask yourself if you can see any orange colour hue. If yes, use your cadmium red in your mixing. Alizarin crimson is a transparent colour, so I can use it if I want to glaze in layers. I'm painting alla prima, so won't be taking advantage of this. Alizarin crimson also keeps its colour really well when mixed with white. It sits here on the colour wheel. Notice it is closer to violet and also to blue. This position on the colour wheel means that it is cooler than my cadmium red. If I am trying to mix colours that have more of a crimson-violet leaning, I would use this one. It is really important to have a warm and cool red on your palette, so if you don't, I would definitely recommend adding one. Let's have a look at the colours I used for this painting. They were cadmium yellow light, yellow ochre light, transparent yellow oxide, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide, ultramarine deep, titanium zinc white. I've also mixed up a few other colours. These are a black red and a black green. When I mix these two together, they give me my rich black. A purple that leans closest to a red purple, two oranges and another green. You may wonder why I have the addition of transparent red oxide on my palette. This is because I want a warm red that is transparent. As I said earlier, cadmium red is opaque, and when I add it to my mixes, it pollutes everything. I only need a very small amount. Transparent red, on the other hand, can be used much more liberally, and it behaves really well when mixed with white. If you would like to know more about the benefits of using transparent paint, have a look at this video on my channel. You'll also notice that this orange here is still quite red. I've taken the punch out of it a little with the addition of yellow ochre light. When I want to use a warmer red in my colour mixing, I tend to use this one rather than dipping into my cadmium red. I painted this cat in 3 sittings. By the 3rd sitting, the paint I laid on my first sitting is tacky, so it enables me to lay paint over the top if necessary. I use these soft long-haired Eclipse comber brushes for this. Anything harder will remove the paint. Because alizarin crimson is transparent, this background area will need a bit of extra paint. I do quite like the sketchy effect, so I don't overly cover it. I do, however, mix it with my black-green for these really dark areas and then just use this black-red plus a bit more alizarin crimson for these much redder areas. I think it gives a really nice broken sketchy effect. The cat's fur is a mix of warm and cool greys. I will be making colourful greys by mixing colour opposites together and adding white. This is a simple way to make grey. For my cooler greys, I am mixing these two blacks together and adding white. Notice how this gives me a lovely cool grey. Where I get reflected light in the legs, I push my grey more red with alizarin crimson. The second grey that I mix is with a yellow. I use this cadmium yellow light plus this purple plus white. This gives me a warmer grey that you can see across the cat's back. The third grey that I will be making is more of an orange grey with this orange plus this black green. This gives me these darker colours that you can see around the eyes and this area down here. Notice that red is present in all 3 greys. For my lighter value neutral areas, my cadmium red becomes very important. The more white I add to my mix, the cooler in temperature my mixture becomes. White is a cool colour and will cool everything down I mix it to. Therefore, if I am trying to add warmer light areas, I will only be able to do this effectively with my really warm colours. My cadmium red will work well with either yellow ochre light or cadmium yellow plus white, or my transparent red added to either of those two yellows plus white. Notice the difference in warmth these two different mixes will give me. This one is made with transparent red oxide and this one is made with cadmium red. As I said earlier, transparent colours hold their tinting strength really well when mixed with white. This is why I have them in my palette. Where my lighter area becomes a little cooler, I just add this black-green to my mix. This black-green, although it has a little yellow oxide in it, leans closer to blue. Notice how I'm always working with colour opposites, red and green, blue and orange, yellow and purple. This cat was actually sitting next to a very plush deep red velvet chair, which was reflecting onto its fur. Had I just mixed greys from black and white, I would have had an issue with my object integrating into its surroundings. Because all my greys carry some red, the cat looks more natural. I'll just mention briefly about brushwork and how you achieve that soft effect. It is very important that I have enough paint on my canvas to move around. Only alla prima painting will allow me to do this. I mustn't let my paint dry on my cat, otherwise I will not be able to manipulate it and pull the paint about. I tend to use these brushes by Art Master to lay my paint in the first instance. I just block in my average values and temperatures in a very sketchy way. I don't put that much paint on to start with. I only do this once I am confident I am correct with my values and temperatures. I then switch to these coma brushes that really allow me to pull the paint around, pulling edges into edges without worrying too much about pulling off my lower layers. To recap then, make sure you have at least a warm and cool red on your palette. Try a transparent red also if you want. These hold their colour well when mixed with white. Limit using your red straight from the tube, but make sure you mix them in with other colours. Be aware that cadmium red is your strongest, warmest, most saturated red and will overpower anything you add it to. Use it sparingly. If you are seeing orange in your reference photo, use your warmer reds. If you are seeing violets, use your cooler red. Use red in your neutrals, for example, mix colourful greys. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and found it useful. Please like and subscribe if you can and check out my website sarahhallidayart.com where you will find examples of my work and also details of online classes that I run. Thank you for watching and see you for the next one.